Fortune and Strife features subjects which can be uncomfortable for a general audience, such as the use of drugs and alcohol, poor treatment of people of different classes or cultures, adult situations, psychological trauma, deprivation, survival, natural disasters, and violence. Listener discretion advised. In addition, these next few episodes of the show contain cultural and historical content based upon the peoples of Asia and the Far East. We are coming at this from a place of respect and genuine interest and a love of these cultures, places, and history. We may not get it 100% right all the time, and we ask you to bear with us and give us the benefit of the doubt, and we would let us know when we get it wrong. We want to be an ally in dispelling Orientalism that has affected the Asian and Middle Eastern communities around the world. Welcome to Fortune and Strife. I am Robert Orbayashi Shinichi, and I'll be your host and narrator.
I am Jeanne, and I am playing Doji Gen.
I am Tyler, and I am playing Akoto Ricci. Let's play some L5R in the Burning Sands.
Over the course of the next week, our characters find themselves starting to acclimate to their new surroundings. Living in the Caliph's palace grounds on the estate of the Emir, they have started to come to find their way around from the stress of their arduous journey to rest up, recuperate, and are now kind of almost feeling themselves in this new place. And they find themselves adapting to new modes of dress, speaking into a foreign tongue here and where they can, trying to navigate the basic necessities that they need. And well, we find them in new environments with, again, new ways of thinking, new ways of talking, and new ways of dressing even. We pick up with Doji Gen with Sueno doing her hair, combing it out once again when she mentions, "Oh, I'm starting to see a few more. Do you want me to pluck out some of the hairs that are starting to show roots?"
No, but I think I think that I'm not going to be able to find any white hair dye, so maybe if we can find some black walnuts in the kitchens, it will be dark brown then anyway. But I think if I'm here any length of time, if we pluck them out, I will go bald.
Well, we can't have that. No, I'll ask Jamila when she comes back around to see what we can do about getting some black walnuts or some other dye. Or we could always ask for a bleach if you'd like.
I'm not sure they would have what is necessary here.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, I'll go ask in the meantime here, and she hands you the brush. You could finish up for them in the meantime, getting dressed. I'll go see what I can do about finding Jamila. And Sueno rises to her feet and gives you an affectionate nod and makes her way off through the Emir's estates to go find your kind of most direct, if not subordinate or minder, or however you want to think of her. Uh, but the person that you're most likely to be in contact with, it's a bit of a combination maid slash handler. But, Jamila does what she can. And but yeah, no, Gen is now kind of left with her thoughts and to get ready for the day.
Well, again, brushes her hair quickly. She starts to put it up in her little in a scholar's knot, little top knot thing that she had, but realizes that her cap is shredded and somewhere lost in the desert at this point anyway, and lets it hang down for now because that seems to be how women wear their hair loose, which is strange. It doesn't seem very professional, but for the moment, especially if she's going to dye her hair, she'll leave it down. And so she quickly brushes her hair, and then she pulls out her book, and she starts leafing through the pages she's already done. And she's already captured in her book over the last week not only sketches of a variety of plants and animals that she's just seen here in the local bit of the gardens, but she's got a pretty good map of the palace grounds right now in her book, with notes in cadence in the margins and stuff. Not that she really needs it, but she has it anyway, just in case, if nothing else. Just maybe if she doesn't get back, she can send this to someone who needs to know it. And she starts sketching in a little bit more. Finally, she gets frustrated with that and puts down the book and does the same thing that she has done for the last 4 days of her time in the palace, which is she goes to the nearest gate and she smiles at the soldiers guarding the gate, and she says, "Ah, good morning."
And you were greeted with what has come to be as warm a greeting as they can, which seems to just be a very curt nod to you. And they just seem to either not quite grasp the greeting that you're giving them, even though you are speaking it in what you believe to be your finest Kumarist dialect, but more than likely have just been ordered to ignore you as best they can.
Well, Gan is being very persistent. She smiles. She says good morning, and she says, "I would very much like to depart for the market of books. I just want to pick up a piece of," and she picks a different type of title than she tried yesterday. Yeah, a part of the Kamarist religious text. Would you mind if I could travel out, please?
You see, he's kind of actually somewhat intrigued by you to study the teachings of the nameless prophet, and for a moment you think he actually might speak to you, and kind of goes to almost for once just turn towards you and actually face you for a moment. But then he kind of remembers himself and steels himself again and turns back out with his implacable face back to watching the gate as he's been instructed to.
And not letting me pass.
Not letting you pass, but you have definitely got his attention with that one. That someone like you would actually be that interested in their ways.
Well, with that, I bow. It's not like I was really expecting something different, but there's definitely the walls are chafing. Beginning to chafe already. She wants to get to those books, and she wants to be able to figure out how to get back to Rokugan, and she's not finding anything within the palace to do it. And she can't get out. So then she goes on her way.
Excellent. Moving over to the other set of quarters set aside for our Rokugani guests. Ricci, you find Hayate in, again, a bit of a foul mood. He is not adapting to the culture shock of leaving the Kitsune Mori and the damp, cool lands of his family to be here in a, well, while it is a bit of an oasis, it is still a rather hot and dry environment, even in the city of books, Elzawara, that he is just not handling it well. And today seems to be another day that is just wearing him thinly down yet again.
I see that you're not up for another bit of practice, are you?
Not this morning. It's this perhaps when the clouds come back overhead and we have another fog off the river. Then I think I might be up for another thrashing from you, Ricci. But you are starting to steadily outpace even my my skill at arms.
Well, all I have to say is that if you continue to keep skipping practices, you will fall behind.
It's true. I would not want to return home and be out of practice and not of use to my daimyo.
Well, I'll give you this much. These sticks they've given us don't quite have the same balance as the Boken back home.
Mm. They won't give us much to shave them down with and shape them, and I would hate to use our daisho, our blades to simply carve down wood with them, but I'm half tempted to at this point.
There's no need to sully our blades with menial work like that.
Mm. If only they'd let us out, we could go find some at least wood carver or something, and we could get something properly made.
Ooh, that it would be nice. And I've started to think that maybe if we were start to walk around the city a little bit more, so that might change your disposition a little bit. Seeing people live, if you will, just kind of brings a little bit of civilization back to what we're used to.
It's not the civilization that's got me down, though. And he kind of wistfully looks back at the palace. They have such short, narrow trees here, and he kind of looks out to a row of palms, and it's like they provide some shade, but they don't hold on to the moisture in the air. It's that's not the same.
And Ricci just kind of reaches up and scratches the little bit of beard that's been growing out for him. Yeah, their gardens are beautiful, but not fulfilling.
It's entirely just alien way of setting ones up. They don't have the arching bridges or the koi in the ponds. It's just I don't know. It's just so different. It's almost too much to take in.
It is both at the same time devoid of life and full of life. And it is a weird balance that they have maintained here. But no, let's if you would like to go and walk the city, or at least attempt to, I'm more than happy to do so with you. If you want to stay here, you're more than welcome to as well.
I think I'm going to stay in today, but if we get any better weather, let me know and we can take that walk then. And again, for you, it's like such an odd way to think about it. For him, better weather is overcast and gloomy, and for you, it's a wonderfully bright day that brings a sense of optimism. But for Hayate, it brings nothing but more homesickness.
Well, it is his loss if he does not wish to go outside and enjoy what Lady Amaterasu has to show us. But yeah, at which point Ricci will put on the newest set of clothing that has been laid out for him. It's strange. All the clothing almost changes on a every other day basis. Ricci just, without any other clothing of his own to speak of, he just puts on whatever's there and just heads up to the front gate to the same soldier that he's been seeing every day. And no words are spoken between the two, just a long stare before Ricci realizes, not today then.
Yeah, not today. All right, Gin, if you've got any more for adapting to new environments.
After the rejection from the gate guards, Gen finds herself slowly slipping into very quiet corners of the more inhabited parts of the castle. She hasn't been invited at this point to join in the activity of the castle. She hasn't been introduced or anything like that. But she's trying to make her observations about what is actually going on in this court, who the people who in this caliph's court that she has sort of learned that she is around, right? And so because she hasn't been invited, because she's at least feeling like a prisoner. She's not drawing attention to herself, which is very strange because it's not how she's worked before. This is Sueno's job. But Sueno can't do this, which is see how these powerful people are interacting. So Gen has started to be very quiet and kind of a little sneaky as she tries to slip into areas where she can sit and watch the goings on of the more powerful people in the court and figure out who's who and just in general what they're doing. It's sort of like what she was doing with the Emir's camp as she's watching people be polite with each other, but she's just trying to learn and get her bearings on a court and an interaction of powerful people that are very different from Rokugan. But if Gen knows anything that she's been taught growing up as a doji, it's there are powerful people and they have their own agendas and they can kill you if you say the wrong thing at the wrong time and if you don't know the currents of politics going on in that world. And she is very aware that that can happen and she is not going to be able to get out of this place if she doesn't know what's going on, and she's going to learn it. She doesn't think that anybody else has the skills that she has in order to do that.
No, excellent. Yeah, no, it's going to be a lot of people watching and observing and trying to pick up all the different bits of the culture that you are seeing demonstrated but aren't ever being told about. A lot of those unwritten rules or things that people forget about in their home culture that to other people really stand out. Whether they are things that are incomprehensible or that immediately a bit of a flash of insight from. It's a combination of all coming together as you are kind of watching people come and go through the to see the Emir, people that live in his household, those who come to greet him. You have started to put together a bit about what you believe the Emir does. And your best bet is that he's possibly something like a Mia Harold back home. He seems to always be about, and whenever he is home, he is always being visited by people bringing him, sheafs of paper or scroll cases or the oddly bound books that you have seen from the market here. And he then seems to send off his own folks, his own set of stables adjoined to his house. People are always coming and going and riding off. And so, yeah, you have this feeling that he is some sort of messenger or, someone who is working on the proclamation. So, possibly like an Atomo ambassador, something along those lines, that he's somewhere up there in the echelons of society and of that level of importance.
So that's what she's doing and working on her language skills because it still needs practice. So.
Absolutely. Let's see how that's going for you. Why don't you go ahead and make me a TN3 well, I guess how would you be practicing your language skills, I guess? Point one is somewhat talking to the guards and whatnot, but you've also said you've grown kind of quiet. So is it by observation or by memorization? How are you thinking that you might be practicing language skills here?
Well, she is definitely doing a lot of observation, memorization for things with other people. And then she goes back and practices the skills with Jamal and the maids and stuff that is in her own quarters. So if she's talking, if she's interacting with people who are like lower status than her, which she figures she's pretty low status, she's just guessing. but like the servants and stuff, she's very eager to pin them down and talk to them and practice her language skills that way. It's when she's like
Excellent.
sneaking in areas that she's not supposed to be necessarily, that she's very quiet and just observing.
So I would say that's
But
probably a TN3 culture check. That is going to be water 2, fire 4.
okay, well, I think that doing it is water is just fine.
Okay.
By being friendly with the people
Exactly.
around.
Friendly and interacting. I think that kind of seems like that's makes
Okay.
it the easiest way to kind of practice your language. And yeah, since that's the way you're going about things, I think that's the way to find the reduction. So I'll let you go ahead and do that.
Right. Water 3 and culture 2.
And I will say this: your Kamarist courtesy advantage will kick in here.
Okay, I made it. No ops, but I made it. So for TN2, so
there you go. I mean, unless you really want to find some, like I said, you do get the chance to use your advantage here if you'd like.
I will do that. Actually, I will use my advantage and
might as well try to turn some of those blanks into something interesting. You might not keep them because they might be strife, but who knows? Yeah, right. You can decide whether you want an op or not on this.
Okay, I will go ahead. I don't know. It's not targeting a character. Never mind. I was gonna potentially use a water op to learn about if there's a character.
You could probably learn something about Jamila, your kind of minder. You could possibly learn something about Raffi, who's kind of the kind of the person who kind of oversees most of the servants you're dealing with. And then any number of kind of maybe smaller, so far unnamed ones that you might want to create a bond with. We can put together something for one of the other maids or messengers in the household of the Emir, if you'd like.
Yeah, well, except it's also not a social skill, so I'll just
that's fair.
let it go at that. So I don't want to stretch my shallow waters too thin. So we'll just use the water opportunity to negate the strife and call it good for now.
Yeah, that works. All right. Yeah, effectively it's lose spend the opportunity to take off 2 strife, then gain 2 strife. It all works out in the end. But yeah, you gained the 2 successes that you needed there. Yeah, you are well on your way to becoming well versed within the language of the Kamaris here. I would probably say, this is probably the 3rd attempt you've made at it. Yeah.
I think this is okay.
Go ahead, say again. I would say about the 3rd, or is it the 4th?
I was going to say I wasn't sure. I thought it was the 2nd, but 3rd is fine.
Yeah, I think it's the 3rd, and so you are kind of just rising over the highest. So it's one of the highest difficulties of getting into a new language. You're going to hit that little plateau where you're not sure if you're ever going to start learning more or less, and when you're going to capture the rest of it. But you are getting very close. How shall I say? 3 of 5 close to mastering the language here. And then we'll go ahead and pass narration over to Richie.
So throughout the rest of the day, then Richie's just going to be walking around the palace, kind of as he does, and just observing people, just looking, not necessarily trying to learn the same language at this point, but kind of picking up on more commonly used phrases. So he's not learning the language, he's just learning how to say specific things. Kind of in the same way that you would learn how to swear in a different language when you're a kid. Mm-hmm. Kind of the same deal. It's like he knows roughly what saying this one thing means, but if someone replies, he has no idea what to do from there.
Absolutely right. You could say see you later, but if they ever asked, oh well, what time? And you're like, oh well, I didn't actually mean it. I just meant like sometime in the future. I will probably. Oh man, I don't know how to say this. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I like that idea. Going around just picking up things here and there. He might not always have full grasp of them, and he definitely can't respond to it, but he's got a pretty good idea of what he's saying with the few things that he's picked up.
Exactly. And if it's something along the lines of like, I want food, he could say that. Or,
Mm-hmm.
I want to have a bath, he can say that. That's about the extent of the deep conversations he can have.
Absolutely. All right, I like that. Why don't you go ahead and to here? Why don't you make me a TN3 um, culture check with Earth 2 and Air 4.
Yeah, we're gonna use Earth. My Earth is a 3, cultures are 1.
Ooh, all right. Well, there you go. All right. So TN2 with that Earth check.
Okay, I'll keep this. That's 4 successes, 2 strife, and an opportunity.
All right, that's not bad. So yes, you're definitely picking things up. I think this is for you. This might only be 2 of 5 for picking stuff up in the language and whatnot. But you're gonna get a little something extra for those 2 extra successes. And you don't have. Do you have? Uh, you don't. I forget. Did I give you both the Kamaris courtesy, or was that just again?
I have Kamaris anatomy.
That's right. You have Kamaris anatomy so far. What should we call this one? We can call this one small pleasantry
Okay.
as a kind of temporary advantage for you. You can have a very superficial conversation with somebody so long as is it about very basic, very mundane things. So the weather, the food, but it's very little, very superficial, and things like that.
That works for me.
Yeah, and we'll maintain that one till you can upgrade that one to actually being able to hold a decent conversation with people. You also have a opportunity there. I'll give you a chance to think about what that might be.
Well, actually, the way I would like to use this opportunity is I actually want to start trying to work a little bit more so with Hayate and try to at least make him make the best use of his time here. Because it looks like he's just kind of sulking around a little bit. So by having like small little like conversations here and there with him, and especially in this language, try to ease that culture shock a little bit more so for him where I can do so. It may not be much, but at least it's something.
I like that. All right, yeah, spend that to lower his strife and to uh, make things maybe a little easier on him, even though you are both stuck in the situation and the situation that he is not enjoying. You can do your best to bring a little bit of his own old life back to him, whether it's speaking to him in Rokugani, and whether it's making up more of a food that he might be more used to or something like that. Yeah, I think that's a good way to go about and reach out to the guy, and hopefully take some of the sting uh, out of his culture shock here. All right. So I would think here, after another couple days, Sueno is finally able to uh, uh, come to again and present her with, the black walnuts that she's been able to ask Jamila to provide her with. And they're unfortunately. Um, how should we say, either still in the kind of green husk and are underdone and just kind of not quite right for they were not quite right for ripe enough for eating and were leftovers, or they were rather dried out and you could probably get a minimal amount of dye out of them now. She's like, this is the best we could do for the moment. Hopefully we could do something with these.
I will see what I can do.
It's kind of the dredges of what's left over from what people didn't want to buy up after the growing season.
That's usually good, but it's not like I've done this often.
That's fair.
I just read about it in a book. It's in a pillow
she'll
book.
be like, well, then that should be fine for you. You've read all sorts of books and been able to put it to use.
We'll see if we can try practical application. And I go find a bowl to start soaking these husks in.
There you go. So you're gonna go, soak the husks and the shells that you have. At this point we're gonna do a little bit of kitchen chemistry here. Let's see here. What would be the way to do about this? Does this sound more like medicine, or where else might this be a good? This might be a good skill to use in the case of some chemistry here. It seems like that seems to be like for alchemy and whatnot. It seems to use medicine in Rokugan.
It does use medicine in Rokugan. However, while that is almost certainly medicine or culture is almost certainly how you would use to get your hair white, not many people have. Well, I don't know, design, possibly,
or aesthetics. You might be able to make a mixing pigments for paints and things like that. That might fall into it. A dye, or for like design, a dye for clothing might fall into design. So I think there's a couple of options that we have here.
Well, fortunately, my skill is about the same for all. I was going to say that it would be skullduggery, but the truth is, I'm sure older Rokugani women color their hair for no skullduggerous reasons. So,
but disguise is not a bad way to think about perceiving how this might work as well. Yeah.
However, it is covering up things, so it is probably it could be earth or air, depending on whether you think this is more to deceive or whether this is more crafting a dye.
Let's take a look. What skill do you wish to use for this? Do you want to use your new skullduggery?
I think probably just given everything that this would be more falling into actually it doesn't make a big difference. I don't know which one. Can I do it under aesthetics?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, design or aesthetics would also be applicable. Heck, even avoid skullduggery. Subsist approach could work in this case because you're making do with what you have. But let's take a look at with the artisan skills here. We're going to look at this with aesthetics, which could also work quite well here. I'm
just trying to think of where makeup would just makeup.
Makeup would be design. Makeup is absolutely the realm of.
All right, then design is probably better. Not as good as that, but all right, design is probably right because this is more like if I were older for some reason I would be
sure. So possible sub skills for this for design are hairstyling, jewelry, layering of clothing, weaving, and makeup.
Hairstyling is obvious, definitely.
Yeah, hairstyling and makeup fall under here. So let's use design, and we could do a restore approach with earth. Could be an interesting way to do it, to think about it. But also water with adapt to repurpose something and to get your hair to something new. Or refine with air could also be good to improve upon something existing.
I think I will go with refine. Getting
Okay.
the raw juice out is not exactly a challenge. It's more like trying to refine it into a dye
Then
anyway.
refine it into a dye and everything else like that. Yeah. So let's go with air. I think air is a good way to talk about. You need to be precise with this, and then apply it in just the right way to get the effect to go off. So yeah, let's go with a TN do I want to
Design
assign to
air.
this? Design air, yes. This is going to be, let's see, mixing a new color of ink from two existing pigments is a water TN2. So I think that's pretty close to what we're going with here.
Okay.
So yeah, let's go with a, but it's also something that you want to apply to your hair and make it actually look natural. So let's go ahead and just add a +1 to that. So we're going to go with a TN3 air design check.
All right. I'm going to ask Sueno if she would help me apply it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you could definitely have someone here to give you. I believe she has unskilled in aesthetics or in design.
Let me see
Verify
what she
that.
has in design.
Yeah.
Design is an artisan skill, so yeah, unskilled, so that's fine.
Yeah, unskilled assistance there.
Okay. That's air 5, including the assistance, design 1.
There you go. Excellent. All right. What
It didn't
kind
work.
of advantages might key in here? Well, hold on. You have natural philosophy
I do
as
have
a
natural
advantage,
philosophy.
so you can
All
always
right.
re-roll 2 dice.
Okay. Except it's a passion. It's not an advantage. I can't do
Oh,
it.
it is a passion. Okay.
It's okay. We'll
For
just live with it.
Kurgan's wisdom, hold on. I think that there's a case to be made for you read about it in a book, and you have perfect recall with for Kurgan, and it is about wisdom and science that you're using it here. I think that is a case to be made for 2 rerolls.
Okay. I will reroll.
Yeah.
3.
Now that said, feel free to lose 3 strife after the roll. So whatever the roll gets you at the end, you can go ahead and
Okay, just
remove 3 strife. She's got a 50-50 shot at this, folks.
I made it.
There
Okay,
you go.
cool.
All right.
It's very stressful.
Let's take a look. It's very stressful, but it's also science, so it's not as stressful as you think. You will gain 4, but then you will immediately lose 3. It's for a net gain of 1.
All right.
Yeah.
Good. All right. I am spending, so I've got 3 successes and 3 opportunities and 4 strife. I will spend one of the opportunities to remove a strife, and I'm losing 3 strife anyway because of the natural philosophy part of this. I will spend another opportunity to make it resplendent.
Ooh, there you go. I like it.
All
right, so that's 2. That's 2 out of your 3. You got 1 more.
All right. And I am going to use the last one to basically be to make it more subtle. So it doesn't look, so it looks beautiful, but it doesn't look,
Okay, I believe that resplendent and subtle are one of those things where they are opposites to each other out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
all right. Resplendent sounded cool though.
Yeah. It will really help you pull off the I'm a rook princess now that you have this resplendent hair. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that I'll just not keep that last one, so that's fine.
Let's see. Is there anything that might be compelling? Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, the other thing is instead of just not keep it, it's drop 2 off the strife you're getting off this check, which makes it 2 strife, which means the 3 that you'll gain from the 3 loss that you'll gain off of your passion will give you a net loss of 1. I'm not sure if that'll help anything, but it's there.
Actually, let's just take off the resplendent in general. All right.
Okay.
And we'll just make it. We'll just pour it all into making it so it doesn't look like it doesn't draw any extra attention. It's like fits in with the. It's more subtle. It's got the subtle
go
quality.
subtle? You're gonna go
yeah,
subtle. Okay.
we'll just not look die.
But at the same time,
look
it means it's going to look yeah, exactly. It's going to look natural. It's going to look normal. The only people that will take any notice are the people that have actually spent any time with you recently. But anyone who knew you come into contact with won't even bat an eye. They think that'll just be your natural hair color for sure.
Right.
I like that. All right, so we're gonna go with subtle for 1, and then 2 to knock off strife off of that thing, and there you go for a net loss of this building your hair dye. I like it. Yeah. Going back to Ricci, anything over there that you might wish to do on the rest of adapting to your new environments?
Not in particular. Ricci's kind of taking it a little bit slow at the moment. Just kind of biding his time.
Fair enough. At the end of the week, again, you wake up again and you get ready and you make your way around the Amir's estates, and you go and you greet the guards, and they don't say anything to you again. But
they don't let me out again.
They don't let you out again. But he does kind of when you come up to greet him, and while he doesn't necessarily say anything to you, he kind of taps and butts his spear on the ground, and then kind of like flicks his spear head forward a little bit. But it also means that the bottom of his spear that was against the ground pushes something past the gate that you're at into the courtyard, not very far, about a foot away from your own feet. And it seems to be a small little package wrapped in cloth.
All right. Well, I take it and I bow and slide it into a pouch. Now I'm gonna have to make him something.
Yeah. When you finally get some time to yourself to open it up, take a look at it, you are greeted by a rather plain, small book that, after some doing and piecing it together, you take to be a kind of book of Kumaris prayer and a selection of the teachings of the Nameless Prophet.
Excellent. When I get a chance, I will paint a picture of him standing guard duty and return it the same way, but I'll wait till I get that opportunity.
Go. I like that. That's good. All right. I'm Robert, or Bayoshi Shinichi, your host and narrator, thanking you once again for listening. Remember to catch new episodes every Monday. If you want to catch them early or are looking for more bonus content, please consider becoming a supporting member of the Patreon at patreon.com/CourtGames.
I am Tyler, and I've been playing Akoto Ricci. You can find me on my personal accounts on Twitter at ChurcherGames or on Twitch, also as ChurcherGames. You can find the show on the web at CourtGamesPod.com, on social media platforms such as Facebook and Instagram under Fortune and Strife, and on Twitter at L5RFNS. If you would like to contact us, you can email the show at fortuneandstrife@gmail.com.
This is Jeanne, aka Kakita Kaori, and also known as, at least today, Doji Gen. You can find me at my blog at the Winter Garden of the Kakita website, along with helpful materials for the RPG, and also on Twitter at White Veils or on Facebook. If you like, I am also found on the Court Games RPG podcast as a writer for Emerald Legacy, or check out The Table Is Yours for fiction readings of the FFG stories.
This has been Fortune and Strife, a Court Games production in association with D20 Radio Network and the Rokugana Historical Society.
Correctly with the correct amount.
D20 Radio, where gamers roll.
www.d20radio.com.